What if I told you that some animals are so intelligent they can solve puzzles faster than a human child, recognize themselves in a mirror, use tools, or even understand abstract concepts like fairness and empathy? We often like to think of intelligence as something uniquely human, a defining trait that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. But the truth is, the animal world is full of brilliant minds, from the depths of the oceans to the treetops of the rainforests. And today on Evano, we're diving deep into one fascinating question: which are the smartest animals in the world? To understand animal intelligence, we first have to rethink what intelligence really means. It's not just about solving math problems or learning language. In animals, intelligence shows up in many fascinating ways, from complex communication and emotional awareness to problem solving, memory, and even planning for the future. And while we may not be able to sit an octopus down and give it an IQ test, we can observe behaviors that clearly demonstrate thought, creativity, and adaptability. Let's begin in the treetops with a creature many scientists consider one of the most intelligent non-human animals alive, the chimpanzee. Sharing over 98% of our DNA, chimpanzees are capable of astonishing feats of memory and logic. In controlled tests, some chimps outperform humans in memory games, particularly those involving short-term recall of numbers. They use tools in the wild, fashioning sticks to fish termites out of mounds, or using rocks to crack nuts. What's even more fascinating is that these skills aren't just instinctive. They're passed down from generation to generation, almost like a form of primitive culture. This kind of learned behavior reveals not just intelligence, but a deep social structure, and the ability to teach and learn. But intelligence isn't reserved for our closest relatives. Dive beneath the surface of the ocean and you'll find a completely different kind of genius, the octopus. With a brain-to-body ratio similar to that of some mammals, octopuses are masters of escape and deception. They can unscrew jars from the inside, solve mazes, and even mimic other species to avoid predators. What makes their intelligence even more astonishing is that it evolved entirely separately from ours. A powerful reminder that smart doesn't always look like us. Unlike animals with centralized brains, nearly 2/3 of an octopus's neurons are located in its arms, meaning each limb can independently explore and manipulate its environment. It's almost as if each arm has a mind of its own, yet these creatures coordinate all of this with stunning precision. Crows and ravens, members of the corvid family, are another remarkable example. These birds have been observed using tools in the wild, crafting hooks from twigs to retrieve insects from tight spaces. In one famous experiment, a crow named Betty bent a straight wire into a hook on her very first attempt, showing both an understanding of cause and effect and the creativity to solve a completely novel problem. Corvids also show signs of advanced planning. They've been seen hiding food, not just from potential thieves, but based on whether they were being watched when they hid it, a sign that they can consider the thoughts of others. This ability, known as theory of mind, was once thought to be uniquely human. Then there are elephants, creatures known not just for their size, but for their emotional intelligence. Elephants mourn their dead, attempt to help injured companions, and recognize themselves in mirrors, a classic test of self-awareness. They also possess incredible memories, capable of recalling locations, individuals, and social bonds over many years. During times of drought, matriarch elephants have been known to lead their herds to water sources they hadn't visited in decades. This combination of social intelligence, memory, and empathy paints a picture of a deeply aware and emotionally complex animal. And of course, we can't leave out dolphins. These marine mammals are famous for their playfulness, but beneath that charm lies a powerful brain. Dolphins communicate using complex sequences of clicks and whistles, and some researchers believe they may even have names for one another. They've been taught to understand symbolic languages and have shown signs of metacognition, the ability to think about their own thinking. In some experiments, dolphins were able to indicate when they weren't sure about an answer, a level of self-awareness that suggests a highly sophisticated mind. Even pigs, often overlooked in conversations about intelligence, are surprisingly smart. Studies show that pigs can use mirrors to locate hidden food, demonstrating spatial reasoning and an understanding of reflections. They learn tasks quickly, remember solutions for long periods, and engage in playful behaviors similar to those of dogs. In certain cognitive tests, pigs have performed at levels comparable to chimpanzees. And speaking of dogs, our loyal companions deserve a place in this conversation. While intelligence varies between breeds, many dogs can understand hundreds of words, recognize human emotions, and learn through observation and imitation. But perhaps most impressive is the emotional bond they form with us. A form of social intelligence that allows them to anticipate our actions, respond to our moods, and even offer comfort when we're upset. This isn't just learned behavior. Dogs appear to genuinely understand human social cues in ways no other animal does. Parrots, especially African gray parrots, are another species worth noting. These birds don't merely mimic human speech, they understand it. One famous African gray named Alex demonstrated the ability to count, identify colors and shapes, and even grasp abstract concepts like same and different. When Alex was asked how many red blocks were in front of him, he responded with the correct number. That's more than mimicry, that's comprehension. And then, there's the boundary between instinct and intelligence. Bees, for example, might not come to mind when you think of smart animals, but research has shown that these tiny insects can solve puzzles, recognize human faces, and even teach each other tasks. Their ability to communicate through complex dances, conveying the precise location of food sources, suggests a form of collective intelligence that continues to fascinate scientists. What makes all of this even more remarkable is that intelligence doesn't follow a single path. It evolves based on the needs of each species. For some, it's about navigating social relationships. For others, it's about solving problems, adapting to changing environments, or communicating across long distances. And while we may be tempted to rank animals on a ladder beneath us, the truth looks more like a web, with different forms of intelligence flourishing in different corners of the animal kingdom. At Evano, we believe that understanding animal intelligence isn't just about curiosity, it's about expanding our view of life itself. Every time we discover a new example of problem-solving, communication, or self-awareness in animals, we're reminded that we are not alone in our ability to think. Intelligence, in all its forms, is one of nature's most incredible achievements. So the next time you see a crow watching from a rooftop, a dolphin leaping through the waves, or your dog tilting its head as you speak, remember this. Behind those eyes may lie a spark of brilliance, shaped by millions of years of evolution. And who knows, maybe understanding their minds will help us understand our own a little better. Thanks for watching Evano.